We're joined now by our friend, Dr. B, Dr. Brent Wallis, Chief Medical Officer of 5-Star People's Health. Good morning, sir. How you doing, Doc?
Hey, Tommy, doing better. I survived the night and the power's back on.
Oh, did you lose power?
Yeah, for about 5 or 6 hours. So
wow. Well,
yeah, but luckily we're back energized.
I slept through the entire thing, didn't hear anything. Let me pose this question to the audience. If you found out today that you or a family member had a life-threatening illness, would you be prepared to make a quick health care decision? Well, Dr. B is going to help us this morning with People's Health to explain the process of advanced care planning and why it's important. So I guess, Doc, we'll start with what does that mean to plan for care in advance?
Sure, Tommy. You know, this can be a really uncomfortable topic for a lot of families to discuss, but it's a super important one. And it's pretty simple. You know, advanced care planning is just really a way for an individual to retain control over their own health care and really to ensure that you get the care that you really want. And unfortunately, serious even life-threatening illnesses or maybe even an accident could really leave you unable to communicate or tell anyone what you want, what healthcare decisions you want made for you, and share them with your family. So really the point of advanced care planning is to map out those decisions and those desires so that everybody knows exactly what you want and really also what you may not want in advance. So you need to do that really before you get sick so that your doctors and your family are aware of kind of the path you want to follow.
And ironically, nobody wants to talk about it, but when nothing's going on is the perfect time to talk about it because emotion, in a way, is kind of factored out of it. Plus, your plans are made clear. Are you required to do this?
No, absolutely not. You're not required to, but everyone really should. You definitely should think about it. It's important to do, especially, like you said, when you're in good health. That's the best time to really think about it. But it's really, it's never too early to make those wishes known. And, here in Louisiana, actually all the states and federal law even requires healthcare institutions and the physicians that treat you to respect your wishes, anyone who's over the age of 18, if they've actually documented those wishes and they've shared them with someone.
When you say over the age of 18, this seems like the kind of thing that generally would be for older people only, is it?
Yeah, I mean, you think about it in older people, but that's really a misconception. Unfortunately, really anyone at any age could have something unexpected happen. It could be medical. Like I mentioned, it could even be an accident. So really anyone of any age should be thinking about advanced care planning long before they really think that they need to do it. It's the only way you can really be truly prepared for what may happen in the future.
And when something does happen, God forbid, or if it does, it goes to the importance of having advanced care planning, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's super important because during that crisis, a family member may be called upon to make decisions for you if you can't communicate. And that can be a really difficult position to put them in. And so advanced care directives are really designed to help your family know what you want during that critical time. And really it takes the burden off of them of making a really difficult decision, because you've already outlined your wishes. You've said this is what I want. And so your family member doesn't have to be in that difficult situation, which really could create some disagreement. You could have a spouse and their children who really disagree on what you may want, and if you haven't outlined that and told them what you want, then they may have very differing opinions and everything. So you don't want to be caught unprepared. You don't know what's going to happen, so that's why it's really important to have that difficult discussion with your family now, even though it may be uncomfortable for you and them.
And if you care about your family and you love them, as I'm sure everybody does, you don't want to put them in a potentially divisive situation when you're in a bad place, and you may do it ahead of time so that you can protect your family as well as yourself. We'll talk about advanced directives when we come back. We're talking with Dr. Brent Wallis, Dr. B, Chief Medical Officer of the 5-Star People's Health Plan, about advanced directives. And it really is important that you do this because you don't want to, again, leave your family in a tough spot where maybe brother thinks one thing, sister thinks another, and then you got mom thinking a third. 8:20, time for traffic now on WWL. Good morning, 8:25. I'm Tommy Tucker on WWL, talking to our friend Dr. B, Dr. Brent Wallis, Chief Medical Officer of the 5-Star People's Health Plan, and we're talking about advanced directives. So, Doc, what exactly is an advanced directive?
Sure. So advanced directives are really the end result of advanced care planning. Advanced care planning is the discussions that you have with your family and your doctors, but the documents that you complete are really two main documents that we always finish. One is called a living will. And a living will is really, it's a document that outlines the treatment you want or you don't want, so that everyone knows what your wishes are. And then the second document is called a power of attorney. And a power of attorney is really a document that says, who do I want to make decisions for me in case I cannot actually make those decisions. So those two forms alone actually make up your advanced directives. And there may be some other documents that you include when you complete the advanced care planning process. In Louisiana, we have something called La Poste, which is a physician order for scope of treatment, and that's a more formal document that says specifically to your doctor what you want and what you don't. And I usually recommend that for people that maybe already have an advanced illness, and they want to be real clear about what's going on. But the advanced directives are really just that important guide for your doctors and your family, so that they know exactly what your wishes are, and it's going to direct your future care.
So how do you even go about the process of beginning advanced care planning?
Yeah, that's usually the hardest part for a lot of people, and sometimes it's uncomfortable and a little bit scary. But, the best way to do this is just talk to your doctor. All primary care physicians and a lot of other physicians actually are trained to have these discussions. And it can be a little bit awkward to start the conversation. So, sit down and write a list of questions that you may want to talk to us about. Definitely bring it up with us when you're in your appointment. We may even bring it up to you and say, have you thought about this? And, you don't always have to have that conversation immediately. Sometimes we start the conversation, and it takes a couple of months before we sit down and actually complete any sort of documents or specific wishes that you have. You definitely don't have to have the answers to all the questions either. You should speak with your family, anyone that you think might, have input in what's happening with you. Because some of the things to think about, like I said, is who's going to make those decisions for you if you can't. In particular, what type of treatments you want or don't want, and how comfortable you want to be. Managing pain is really a big issue with end of life. So really outlining that and understanding what you need to do. So
is this an attorney that you talk to your doctor, then an attorney does this, doctor?
Yeah, you actually don't have to speak with an attorney for a medical power of attorney. It can actually be completed as long as it's signed and has a witness. And that actually can be brought directly to your doctor, or a lot of times your doctor will actually have those forms with you. The big thing, too, to keep in mind is this is an ongoing process. So, as you age, as you develop different conditions, through aging, you may want to change what your wishes are. And so when you set down your advanced directives, they're not permanent. They can change at any time. And so if you let your physician know and let your family know, I want to change what my wishes are, then they can make that documentation and actually change them. For all of our People's Health members, we tell them they can actually share their advanced directives with us and any updates to those directives, and then we'll make sure that all of your healthcare providers have a copy of them when they need them.
So tell me more about People's Health if people want to find out more. And also, I would imagine there's an area on the website that deals with advanced care planning?
Yeah, you can actually go to our website at peopleshealth.com/advanced care planning, and there's a lot of information there. We actually link to a wonderful website called the Conversation Project. It's got a lot of information on the process, why it's important, even some videos that you can watch to make you a little bit more comfortable with the process as well. So it's a really great resource, that you can actually look at to start that conversation with your family and your friends as well as your doctors.
Tell me about the People's Health Center.
Yeah, we've got a Medicare center that's actually located in Metairie. It's right on Veterans at Causeway next to Party City, and we'd love for you to come by and see us there. We take appointments or walk-ins.
Thank you, Doc. I appreciate your time. I hope you and the family have a wonderful, happy, joyous Easter.
Thanks, Tommy. You too. Happy Easter.
Thank you, sir. And to find out more about People's Health, you can call 1-800-978-9765 or follow People's Health on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.